We're recording now.
Recording's for everyone.
So,
Right. So, thanks everyone. Sorry, a bit late. I think it's growing 15 more minutes to get this demo to work. I'm kind of lucky because there are no demos. I could just talk for 10, 15 minutes and then that's it. This presentation is something I kind of requested in February of MacBook and then forgot why I'd requested it, about how to encourage more people to do presentations at events like this or conferences or whatever. I noticed in a lot of conferences there's kind of a lot of the same faces that do the presenting, which is good. They're good at presenting and so on, but also it's good to get some new faces. I'm sure lots of other people are coming up with interesting solutions. So all I'm going to just talk about is why you should bother doing a presentation, why put yourself out there. A bit about, and I can only speak for MacBook, but what the organisers are looking for. So when we get a submission to present, what kind of things do we look at? And also just the who, what kind of person we're looking for. So why present? There's a bunch of kind of obvious reasons why you might want to do this. So first of all, share with the community. And the Apple community is a bit special in that sense. Everyone likes sharing with everyone else. Slack is a big example of that. But also all the stuff that goes off on GitHub and stuff that Graham does with open source projects that need to stay open source, by the way. And there's just loads of sharing that goes on, and it's also kind of friendly. You don't get too many trolls. You get the occasional mini troll, but not too much. So it's nice to just share things out. And if you fix something interesting or come up with some kind of solution, then why not just share out what you've learned? One of the big ones is obviously just recognition. So you work hard, you come up with interesting solutions. So maybe your boss really values you and tells you how good a job you're doing, but it's also nice just to get some kudos from the whole community to say, actually, that is really amazing. And obviously in the Apple community, if you might have done something really clever, but your boss doesn't even understand what that thing is. And you literally spent the entire weekend coding on it, and then they're like, good, when will it be ready? But it was really difficult. Not interesting. So a bit of recognition. Obviously good for your career as well. Depending on what point you are in your career, there's never any harm having something on your CV saying I presented at this conference or that conference, because it just shows a certain level of technical competence. This is one of the reasons I do it occasionally. I'm taking kind of like a year off, sort of, presenting, but one of the big things I've got out is I do a proposal to speak at a conference. Then, as it gets close to the conference, I think, oh no, what have I done? Because they accepted it, and then I worry about it and overlearn that particular topic. So a recent one we did internally at Amsys was about sort of encryption, SSL certificates, RSA, all that kind of topic. And I just went completely headfirst into it and learned way more about it than I would have needed to. That's made me a lot more comfortable with the whole topic. So when I see someone having a certificate issue of some kind, I know it's at quite a good level, so I'm more confident troubleshooting. So you can pick a topic that you know, and this will force you to learn it way more. So what are the organisers looking for? And obviously I can only speak for myself when I've looked at the proposals for MacBook. So there's a few different things. Also, you have to take into consideration what the conference is. There's the kind of more open source general tech conference, Apple tech conferences like the Penn State conference going on at the moment. You've got vendor conferences like the Jamf conference that are kind of more like a general tech conference than you would think. And then you've got another extreme like a Cisco conference where everyone's wearing suits and it's all a bit weird. So your proposal has to really make sure you're aiming for the right one. So a couple of things we look at. The technical relevance is obviously pretty important. So making sure you're picking a topic that is sort of really currently relevant. An example of a bad one will be a topic called how to build a golden master Mac image. We might look and think, we kind of all know that now. Someone might be interested, but it's not very current. If it's kind of a bit more DEP related, possibly iOS, Swift, those kind of things, they're the more interesting new topics. If you're unsure what kind of topics might be of interest, have a look at the Slack channels, because there's so many of them. Look at how many people are in each Slack channel, because the ones with thousands of people are probably the more popular topics. The technical value, this is just, I've been to a couple of sessions in the past where I went when iOS and MDM was first becoming a thing, and a school district in the States did a presentation saying they had their whole plan of how to roll out 13,000 iPads to all their students, and then, or whatever, some ridiculously high number. Then they found out that as they started the project, that under 13s can't sign up for Apple IDs. And you think that is quite valuable, because if you didn't know that, then you're going to hit. So when you put a proposal forward, it can be something to say, here's something that has taken me 6 months of pain to learn, and I'm going to save everyone a load of time, and
it can't be done. It can't be done.
Even it can't be done, it can be really challenging, because how many people waste their time trying to do something that's not possible, or so on. For Amsys, we spend a lot of time working on what products we should use, in what combinations, and how we should use them, and what approaches we should take. There are some technical products out there from commercial companies that don't work properly. Said it. But you don't know that until you've tried it. And if that's one of those products where you don't find out until you enroll 1,000 devices into it, then that's a lot of pain to go through. Another one, this is really difficult because it's trying to keep it as unique as possible. You don't really know if your one's going to be unique until you find out that 5 other people have submitted the same proposal. Kind of reminded me of that game Pointless on TV. You're trying to go for the popular one that's not the popular one to get as minimal price as possible. Also, just a little bit of proposal quality. So I have had occasional ones where it's like, I'm thinking about doing a presentation about Macs and something, and you're like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Like, what is your presentation going to be about? There are the occasional exceptions, someone that is known to have presented all around the world at every single conference, and you think, okay, they're kind of a known quantity, but if you're new to it, and you're an unknown quantity, there's more of a degree of risk that the organisers are taking, putting you on stage, that can sometimes backfire. So you need to make sure that you're coming in with some kind of decent plan as to what the proposals we have. So that's just a couple of things about what kind of things we're looking for. I have this slide in here saying who are we looking for, and this is because I was asked a bit about diversity. And I really thought about it, I was like, do you make a joke about diversity, and is that going to massively backfire? But anyway, we're all friends here. So I was asked, why is it only men speaking at Macaduck this time round? And I said, and this was, a woman asked me, and I said, it's because you didn't submit a proposal to present. Which is fair enough. Yeah. Then it was suggested, should Macaduck go out and sort of contact people that don't technically present? But then you can't, you're doing the opposite. You're singling out people because they're female or whatever. So the big focus is, what is the proposal, what is the presentation about, what's the technical content. We do not care who that person is. We don't care what, race, religion, gender, anything about it, because it just doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form. Get off my soapbox now, but that's so I was asked about it a few times, but I was really disappointed personally when we got all the stuff. We came up with the list of people to speak. We were like, it's all men, but what can you do about it? If you don't get many women presenting or offering to present, then we did have one, and the proposal was dreadful. And you think, we've got to take it on what the technical content is. You can't, but she is a woman, so let's just put her in there anyway. That's all the wrong motivations. So apart from that, when it comes to actually submitting the presentation, a lot of people might worry about rejection or sort of, what if they don't accept this and so on. Just don't worry about it at all. Submit it and off you go. Do make sure that you've got permission from your employer before you try and ask to present at a conference. You get the occasional employer that says you can't do it under their company name in any way. You get some employers that say you cannot do it at all. I know one person that got accepted at the Penn State conference this year and then had to withdraw because their employer said no. Flat out, which I think is fairly wrong. There you go. So make sure you've got their permission. But apart from that, just get your submissions in. If you are uncomfortable speaking at a big conference, then speak at this stuff event. Personally, I find this harder. That's just my personal opinion because it's just a bit. The smaller the number, sometimes the harder it is. When there's like 300 people, it's you just blank out to it. But yeah, you can try things out here, or just do like a little. If you've got an IT department at work, do little mini presentations to your IT team about a particular topic, something you want to tell them about, or just to get a bit of practice. Because it's just weird standing up and talking to people until you get a little bit used to it. For Macaduck, if you are interested in, so it's slowly shaping up. We're quite trying to confirm the venue at the moment, which is proving slightly difficult, but we're finalising it over the next few weeks, which will finalise the dates. But anyone is welcome to register their interest even at this stage. Technology has changed so quickly that we don't quite know maybe what's going to be out in February next year from now. So you can say I'm interested in speaking next year, and then at least you're on the list to get contacted when we get close to that stage. Okay, that's what you've done. Any questions? Live demo.
The rest of my laptop. I guess so. I was emceeing, I wasn't emceeing.
Thank you very much, David.
That was fantastic.
That's amazing.
Next up, we've got Graham, all the way over from the US.
It's all not going to do a demo. It's
Cool.
all broken. So I was
Talking
trying to
about
be clever.
Flasky goodness.
This is what I've learned. Don't try and be clever. You do this all the time before. You're not a very annoyed wife and no demo. Alright. Okay, so good evening, thanks for coming. Those who made the effort on 3 days' notice. That's mostly my fault, I apologise. I'm crap at telling people when I'm going to be coming. So today I'm going to be talking about Flask, and then it's not going to be the good one. And by the good one, I mean one you can put your tea in, or your coffee, if you've got the right answer, or your whiskey. Certainly no Union flag. Flask. So what is the Flask I'm going to be talking about? It's a micro web application framework, which means that it's a framework which doesn't make any assumptions about what you want to do. So it doesn't strap database layers for you. it doesn't have built-in user management things like Django would. But that does mean it's incredibly lightweight and very easy to get going with if you only need to do a couple of things. It's written in Python, which is good because it's not written really. And yeah, it's simple. So, how do you get started with Flask? You can do it in 5 lines. This will do a hello world. So at the beginning, we're importing Flask from Flask. We're doing some stuff which doesn't matter about app equals Flask name. So at app root, this is literally the URL that the person's going to hit in their web browser to hit your website. So this is the top level, yourdomain.com. And then when that is hit, it's going to return hello world. So something a bit more useful is return some JSON, because computers like structured data formats. So let's say you wanted to be able to return some data to another app which needs JSON. So this will take a Python dictionary and return my favorite beer in JSON format to that web application or to that other application. And because my computer's a beta, that didn't work for some reason. There we go. Because we work with Macs, we likeplists. Well, if you don't like plists, you're in the wrong job. We're importing plist because this is Python. We have full access to the full Python standard library, and Python knows about plist on its own. That's all right. So our app root is changed to /plist, so this is not going to be the root of our domain, but it's going to be /plist. And we're going to be putting in my second favorite beer and outputting that into plist format. And I would show what plist looks like, but if you don't know what plist looks like, something more practical. Let's say we wanted a web app which would return our monkey package URL based on where we're coming from. Because there are a lot of companies where they don't have fantastic bandwidth on all of their sites. If they have offices in places like India or China where bandwidth is very scarce. So, because once again we've got full Python, access to full Python, so we can iterate over our request IP address and find the right package URL. And that will return JSON. You put this in like a monkey preflight script. So this would be where I was about to show you a fantastic demo. But because, as I said, I was overambitious, it really didn't work. So I can show you the bits, which are much less interesting. But it does have to pretend that it looks fantastic. Alright, in the mirror space. Yay. Right, okay. So, this is a VM that does nothing because it's broken. Alright, so let's say that we have a tool which can manage configuration like Puppet, which can consume a URL to get configuration for your machines. It could be an MDM that has a REST API. So you essentially just want to consume JSON in. And let's say we have a machine which gets lost. What happens when it gets lost? Your help desk goes into the inventory tool, they mark it as lost or stolen. Then they go into your MDM, they remote wipe it. That seems like stupid busy work. So let's say you had this fantastic inventory tool, which I wrote in 5 minutes, which is probably better than our real inventory tool. So I go in and say, oh yes, Graham's virtual machine, so FatMapper Pro. It's not in stock anymore, it's been lost or stolen. So, no, that's lost. Well, here let's go. Okay, so it's not found. It's not lost or stolen yet. So we hit save on here, continue editing. This inventory tool happens to have an API. So if we slash API machines. Can we read that? Let's put some. That's better. So it returns JSON about the machine. So it's all of our 5 fields we have about our machine. machine. So you can see our status here is installed. So our Flask app, which we have over here, we have it here. This bit does work, so the main bit is alright. So alright, so lost or stolen. Okay, so we hit this URL /lost or stolen, and it takes a serial number as an input. So this decorator gets passed down to our function. So it takes serial in here. So it goes through and it runs the query inventory and passes the serial number in. What that does is essentially curl down our inventory tool and passes JSON from it. So if our status is lost or stolen, we're going to apply this class match to it. If you're familiar with Google's tool Match Destroyer, it's better than MDM wipe because it actually works. It relies on a plugin called storage though, so we're working with 8FS, so we have to use MDM wipe now. But anyway, I digress. So our status is lost or stolen. So our Flask app, and go back to it. Our lost or stolen. No longer not found, not 404. We're applying the class Match Destroyer. So our Puppet server then will look up that and apply that class to our machines. And we can have that for any number of these. Let's say, well, that's really so what would have been a good bit of the demo is when I hit encryption required, and now we can still crypt on the machines and force it to be encrypted. But because I've installed Puppet 5 and didn't test anything before I got them playing, we can go to encryption required and see that it requires a class script. And one that we do use in production is a tick box. Assign Windows VM. We are predominantly Mac shop, but unfortunately we do need to have a lot of Windows VMs knocking around. So they can go through that and go into that and just sort of so we can also apply manage install for Monkey via our Puppet classes which come from Hire, which come from a web application, and that was a really quick talk because my demo was supposed to work. Let's go for questions because I'm not explaining that very well at all about a real demo because it's hard to explain. Questions?
I always get confused when people like what's that other Meteor or whatever things like Meteor, things like Flask. Is Flask itself the HTTP server software? Is it the thing that
in this case it is? Okay. You shouldn't run it like that.
Right.
This is running the development server, so it will cope for about 100 connections at a time.
So you would run it on Nginx or Apache and then pass it variables and
you could use something like a Unicorn or Tornado, which you'd then put behind Nginx.
Okay.
Nginx can act as a reverse proxy.
I understand what that is.
So you could use another server to run it, but essentially, yeah. So you'd have Nginx or Apache running to serve your static assets, your images, start sheets, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Your static files you have, and then the actual Python processing, I would do it with Unicorn.
Right. So Flask is just a piece of software that gets called when required.
Flask is a framework. It is essentially wrapping common things in a nice, easy-to-use manner to stop you repeating yourself. You could very easily write a web server in Python if you so wished, but no one has time for that because someone else has already done it.
Cool. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Where you say you apply classes to the Macs that require those.
Yep. How? Okay, so that's what my demo would have explained. So,
Glad you asked that.
all right. So here's my Mac, right? Here's my Puppet server. My Mac talks to my Puppet server. It goes, "Hey, this is who I am. I'm Graham's Mac. What do I need? This is everything about me. It's all my facts. And then the Puppet server goes to my Flask app and goes, hey, I've got Graham's Mac talking to me. What does he need to do? The Flask app then goes to inventory. That's not very cool. Goes to inventory and says, does this machine need a Windows VM? Does it need to be encrypted? Is it lost or stolen? Is it a high-risk location machine? Those classes. And then that gets sent back in JSON to the Flask app. The Flask app then munges that into a format like the Puppet server likes to be able to read via Hira. Hira is how you pass structured data into Puppet. Your Puppet classes contain your actual configuration. Let's say, let's take our VPN software, so that's really easy. It's a package for our VPN client and then a profile. And depending on whether you're a regular machine or a high-risk location machine, your VPN server is different because our high-risk location stuff is all completely separate. So if you go, yeah, it's a high-risk location machine, but you still get VPN, so you're a laptop, so you get VPN. So VPN software installs, profile installs with that particular value, which comes from the Flask app, which is reacting to inventory saying it's a high-risk location machine. Does that make sense?
So rather than creating a specific YAML file with the high-risk part of the information, you're taking that dynamically using this Flask application?
Absolutely.
Okay, now I understand.
To put it in Casper terms, I guess it would be like hooking up via the API and having a smart group. It's been a few years since I used Casper, so I'll probably explain that better.
Do you use this in production, or are you experimenting?
Something like it.
Okay.
Something like it.
Something that works.
It works very well. That's why I spend most of my time searching for Airbnb throughout the code to make sure there's nothing in there before I don't get up. Did I see another question? I did. Okay, we're back on schedule.
See, it's all the plan. It's all part of the plan, right? We start late, knowing the demo might not work.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Nice very. Cheers. So this is hugely embarrassing because I'm the guy who curses when people don't use all the wireless tech that we put in. And now, you know, faced with a real world situation, I'm using a wire because, you know, stuff. So let's see. Oh, it's the way. Okay, let me start with the first slide. So, I'm blaming, who am I blaming for this? It's probably Neil's fault. Right, so hi, I'm Steve, I work at ThoughtWorks, and I'm going in for the running to the longest talk title of this evening, as a start. I'm not sure, having seen David's talk, I'm not sure if this was any of his reasons why he'd maybe do a talk. So I volunteered something to Neil, hoping we wouldn't need to use it, and that's kind of backfired. But anyway, so it's about a horrible hack, which none of us ever do. Yeah, that's a talk over my talk tonight. It's one of those things as well, I hear the term Rube Goldberg machine, and I've never really known what the hell it actually meant. I just smile and nod. So I Googled, and it turns out that Rube Goldberg is effectively American Heath Robinson. He designs these crazy, complex contraptions. And the suggestion, I think, is that Rube Goldberg stuff is complicated for the sake of being complicated, and Heath Robinson stuff is wobbly and shaky and a bit more British. I think there's the British-American thing going on there. But Heath Robinson got there first, so yeah, Heath Robinson. I also feel obliged to talk about ThoughtWorks very, very briefly, I promise. So we're a tech consultancy. We help customers around the world solve really difficult problems through custom software that we help them write. And I'm a member of the tech ops team. More distinctly, it's an internal comms and collaboration team, so we work on collaboration tools. Things like G Suite, things like Fuse video conferencing, Fuse for Rooms, which we'll get to. A lot of Mac Mini managed in Monkey and AWS. And it's fairly common that we'll have teams, a remote team in India pairing with people in the US. And in fact, the bulk of my colleagues, I spend most of my time on video calls with guys in India, Latin America, and North America. And more than I do with people in the UK. So, Fuse Rooms. So Fuse is a video conferencing app. And it has an option that you can turn the basic desktop client into a room. So it has some basic calendar integration, you can invite it to join meetings, it does a few other sort of nice little things. But the best bit about it is you can set up a video conferencing room for about £1,000. You Mac Mini, a couple of screens, a little microphone and camera, and you're good to go. And as a result, because they're so cheap and easy to do, we've probably got 150 to 200 around the world, I don't really know. And that's kind of where my problems started. So there's me. I've been playing with this stuff for a while. And then this was, if you recall, there was a tech thing at the Olympic Park, and I was reminding myself how BBC Basic I know. About that much. So what I'm trying to do is do a bit more Python. So in general, usually I'm this guy. So if I need to solve a problem, I turn to Bash, because I was raised on DOS, and it feels broadly familiar. And I'm also hugely embarrassed that I thought of this, and this is a good gag. I googled for it, and no bugger had made this, but I spent way longer than was sensible making this stupid image for one joke. But okay, fine. But it was always that thing that, you know what, you'll fire up some Bash, you'll write a little script, you'll Google for the bits you've forgotten, it'll probably solve the problem in a really sort of hacky way, and it'll do. And you look at the additional overhead of trying to write something in Python, and you think, next time. Maybe next time. But I'm trying to get better, so I think the other thing is I think that there's a whole sense that perfection is the enemy is good. That sometimes I'll just write some terrible code and I'll look back on it probably in 6 months and think that's terrible, but at least I've started. So I'm trying to do some more things in Python. So where were we? Fuse Rooms everywhere. So we've just been in the middle of an upgrade to the new version of the software. So the old version supported management via configuration profiles. So you could set the username via a profile, which I blogged about, creating templates and stuff. And then you set the password in keychain, which was impossible and really sucky and just a painful way to be, and didn't really work. So for the new client, they've re-engineered it completely. And it stores everything in application support in a little folder somewhere. I forget how I found it, probably via some of the tricks that Neil talked about in sort of taming unruly software, but I tracked it down. There's a little folder containing a bunch of level DB files, which I didn't even know what a level DB file was. It's a Google database format, which I didn't know anything about. So what we were hoping is, great, so we've got this level DB data, surely we can manipulate this in some way. We can create some sort of package or script and we can configure our rooms around the world. Yeah, no. And so we spoke to Fuse. We said, guys, how can we've got 150, 200 rooms, how can we manage these rooms? I don't know. So apparently, most companies that use Fuse, they have 4 or 5 of these rooms. They aren't using them as much as we are. So we're kind of on our own, which is nice. So I've got to log into 150 rooms manually, and at this point I'm thinking, can't someone else do it? So I went on Mac Admin Slack, and now I have to remember, I think it's Securely script, tomato. So I went and we asked, and there's this thing called Securely script. So Securely script was a project from MIT, I think, and it's Java powered, and it lets you interact with UI elements on screen. So the suggestion is, can I script logging into 150 rooms so I don't have to? So the answer is yeah, I suppose so. Drops mic and install. So there's an IDE, and you get to work with that IDE and you can prototype and play around. So this is my code. I feel like this is how code was supposed to be in the 21st century. I just make pictures and tell the computer to do all the hard work. Look, click this thing, type this thing, click this thing. It's nice, right? And you'll see that because my clients aren't particularly well behaved, although this is supposed to support things like wait until this element appears, it didn't work. So there's loads of sleep commands. So I let it sleep for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, so I know the app's in a known good state. And now I can remote control, logging into an app, which is kind of cool. So that's one. So how do I do the rest? So the plan is, I guess we build a pipeline. So which one I couldn't resist. This isn't supposed to be me, but maybe it's me. So I guess there are Python CSV libraries. I can get a CSV of all the rooms I've got in the company. So I can read through that CSV. I can spit the details out into my Securely scripts. If you notice, it will take an argument from standard in, so I can tell it what the room's going to be called. It'll log into the client. mostly. I'll copy the authentication folder somewhere else, I'll package it up with luggage, and I'll repeat. And now I've realised I've talked not long enough, because I don't want, this is the best Rube Goldberg machine there may possibly be. This is from the beginning of Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure, if you've not seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you're missing out. It's, you know, to my mind, Tim Burton's finest work. See, culture as well is terrible. Anyway, we're good. So, he says discovering embedding videos is not a good idea if you want to actually get to the next slide. So, what was it? Yeah, so, I realise that Graham's code looks a lot nicer than mine, and that I think my comments are more for me. But this is basically it. You use the CSV reader, you loop through, you define the things you're looking for, the user ID or the name of the package. You loop through, I've written some horrible functions. I will put the code on GitHub afterwards, and you can all blame me later. But again, the idea was solving a problem I needed to solve. And I think what was really nice was adding the error handling. I've no idea how to start to do that in Bash. And here I just, if it craps out, it spits back where it failed. I edit my CSV file, I dump the ones that work, I fire it off again, and I go get a beer. It takes a while, you've got 30 seconds of sleep. Sorry, a little crappy little function, so I tell it where it will find the script. I pass the room name, and it builds it. And then there's the luggage. So I blame Graham, not for the luggage, I mean he didn't write it, but for writing blog posts that convinced me that I could use it. I can't use the luggage. We have a real sort of love-hate relationship that every now and again I think I can work it, and then I miss a comma or I type something wrong, and then it sort of doesn't really work. But for this it's perfect, because it's command line scriptable. So it's based on makefiles. So I can feed the name I pulled out of the CSV file into the make file. It will then build me a package containing the stuff I need with the correct name, so I can then sort of assign that with Monkey. So again, yes, you change your title to package name in the make file. Again, it's not particularly elegant. I literally just dump all the stuff into user shared, and then there's a post-install script that then copies it into the correct location. And the reason I'm doing that is because I work in an environment where nothing is standard. I can't assume anything at all about any of my rooms anywhere in the world. So I'm taking a punt that the logged in user is probably the user I want to target, and I'm copying this in to that logged in user's home directory. One day I'll fix that. So I was doing this at the weekend. I've run through a bunch of batches, so I was kind of excited enough to screen capture a robot doing stuff. And now I realise it's not very exciting. Well, it's exciting for me because it's actually working. And it's spitting out a lot of packages I can deploy with Monkey. But maybe a minute of this is probably a minute more than anyone needs. But it's been nice, because we've had a few sort of screw-ups, or ones we want to rerun through this. We've changed the names, or someone's had a change of heart. I dig this out, I fire it up again, I leave it running for half an hour, I get a beer, and away it goes. Which I guess at few users' end probably looks like this. So some bastard's DDoSing them, because I'm logging into 150, 200 rooms at once from my house. I did warn that one of the guys there, doesn't seem that fast. But there you go, I leave it running. I've got 150 odd packages, I stick them in Monkey, I push them out. I configured a bunch of huge rooms over the weekend. My colleagues think I'm a genius. And what's really nice is where I've got people who aren't interested in Monkey. Why don't I use Monkey? It causes the rooms to run badly. Well, I just configured the room hands off over the weekend. You didn't have to do anything. Where do I sign? So that's working quite nicely too. And I'm done. And I couldn't resist because, you know, one of the best episodes when he's the garbage collection. Question. And I realise I'm at the end, so I'm between us and further discussion, which means the pub, doesn't it?
I have a question.
Go on.
Do you automate the import of those packages into Monkey?
Yes, I went and found a script that someone else has written to do that. Because I could do it myself, but yeah. I googled, I found a script that sort of works. I ran random code from the internet, bulk import it all, and push it out. And the pushing out bit's actually incredibly manual, because again, there's no standard naming convention, but it's still a bunch of clicks versus some poor bastard wandering into each room and logging into them manually. And again, with lots of our remote offices, I'm sure when I last we had like 40 offices now, and lots of those are quite small. There's not an IT guy or girl there to go and do that schlepping into a room and logging in. So there's been a lot of value added just by the fact that we can remote admin each room. There you go. Okay.
Did you try AppleScript with it?
I think I stopped at Bash, partly because there are good gags about Bash Gordon, and partly because I think there's a sense, and I'm probably being really unfair, that AppleScript is that sort of toy comedy language no one uses, you know. I'm sure that's, you know. And so this inherent, perhaps I'm being unfair, but this inherent thing, anything you write in Bash is portable. You can probably write that terrible Bash script on a Linux box too. Or if you want to do something clever, should you maybe be using Python, maybe looking at Swift. And I also feel like Apple don't seem to know what they're doing with you know, AppleScript either, that they kind of hide sound stuff. So you're thinking, do I really want to spend time playing with AppleScript when I could be, you know, writing terrible Python?
Yeah, it's always
But I've never, it's one of those things, I started playing with Macs properly in I guess 2004, 2005. And I just never did. I think, because OS 10 was much more Unixy, and I worked in a university environment with lots of Unix nerds, just the idea of playing with Apple, it just didn't appeal, it just didn't, you know, and I've missed out.
Thanks,
Cool. I haven't got a mic to draw. Alright, so pub time?
Yeah.
Yeah.